I am love, I am light, I am peace. I am love, I am light, I am peace. I am love, I am light, I am peace.
It's one of the biggest things that clients come to me for, is to ask, you know, what is my purpose? You know, what is my joy? Why am I here? You know, what's my soul mission? Do you find that that's a really common thing that you get as well with clients? And
yes,
your energy, it seems like you're helping to activate that when they connect with you. And I think that's what often prevents people from stepping into their, you know, soul mission and going out there, as well as getting the courage, is that they don't really have clarity on what it is. And then when they do have some sort of clarity, they don't have often the self-worth to believe in themselves to go out there.
Yes, and fear steps right in the door and prevents them from moving forward. So yeah, that is like key to a lot of what I do in my Starseed alignment sessions, for instance, is like looking at people's soul origins, okay? But then I don't just look at from a multi-dimensional perspective, okay? So it's like different aspects of them in the different dimensions. They're usually starseed, angelic, or elemental realms. But I'm also looking at what do they do in these other realms as other aspects of themselves, because that actually provides a wider picture of your purpose, like your scope of what you're doing in these other dimensions, these other realms, these other aspects that are all you. And so what I do is try to look at that, because that actually helps to identify some of your purpose here. Okay, it doesn't all have to come into play. Like, not all of it is everybody's going to do every single thing, but I do find that it brings clarity, and then it also brings some tangibility to how you can do it here. Okay, and how you can actually get on the purpose that you are meant to bring here. Okay, so it's really important to know that. It's just how I look at it for people, because I do find people want to know what their purpose is. And then we have a general purpose that we're all here to learn, we're all here to grow, and we're all here to raise the consciousness of the planet. Okay, that's like generally. But then we have certain things that we're coming here to do that we have signed up for, you know, before we came. And so, and also in the other aspects of ourselves, to put that into place so that we can function here. So I look at it from a larger perspective, and I love the fact of, like, you know, for instance, like even for one of my missions, okay, I'm in another dimension or in another aspect of me that has all these languages, these light languages. Like, I have 125 languages is what I've heard. I don't have them all downloaded into this body and this mind and this spirit yet, but it's all there. And what I'm doing there with it, though, is like diplomatic kind of relations. Okay, so I'm utilizing these languages differently. But when it started to really come through here, okay, I'm not using the language here for that same purpose, but I'm utilizing the light languages now for their healing, activation. You know, that's why I'm very much into when people are saying, I want to translate this, you know, light language, or how do I, you know, everybody wants to know what it means. Everyone has this thing, and that's okay. But we have to also realize that light language in itself is not to be translated. Really, when you first get the essence of it, it's all an energy thing. It's all an activation. It's a heart message. It's like DNA. It's going into your soul. It's like not to be taken and translated into a word for word type of translation into English or French or German. For the moment, I am not doing the translations anymore. I've been told to stop doing that for a while. It might return and then translate it. But I think what's happening is that my higher self and my guidance were kind of like, let's give people the opportunity to feel the energy of what this is and the different frequencies that it's bringing, so that they can not dilute the messages or the shifts by trying to give it a 3D outlook. And so that's why I stopped to do translation so much. Even though I will still know what I'm receiving and what the general message is, I let people experience it, and each person gets something maybe different from it, but that's what's meant for them. So yeah, so purpose is different where you're, you know, like in that example, I'm bringing my one aspect, but I am doing it here differently. I mean, I have like 3 or 4 different examples of that in my life, just because I've just chosen to do, utilize the skill set that I have either from past life or from other dimension. And then I'm choosing to do it differently than I did before. Yeah. So that's where I encourage everybody to look at your life and your skill sets and your energies and look at how you want to bring it here, not maybe in the same way as you had before.
Yeah, and I think to encourage people to learn their light language is a great thing, isn't it? Because I speak soul language, and it's like very healing for self as well when you speak it. And I use it if I'm a bit low in energy, or I'm trying to transmute something or send even healing to a situation. But it can be used for all those different things, and I think it's another really powerful tool, isn't it, for people to access.
Part of our, I love how you call it soul language, because it's really what it is, more than especially the very first languages that you receive, which I call your mother tongue, is kind of how I call usually the very first one. Not always, but usually the first one that starts coming through is the one that you're most comfortable with and most familiar with. It's your soul language to creator, God, source, whatever you want to call it. It's your own dialect to that. It's very similar to the Christian speaking in tongues, actually. When you're talking about that spirit language directly to your soul, which most people everybody has one, at least one. Not everyone might be doing what I'm doing with it, with 20 plus or 120 languages. Not everyone's going to need to do that. That just happens to be one of my aspects of me that does that. But everybody speaks that creator's soul language that is only really interpreted or understood by the soul. And then you can go from there. But that's where, that's a very powerful way of communicating. And everybody uses it differently. I've seen this happen where some people are using it for transmutation of energies when they feel. Some people are using it for blessings over things like food or other people, and some people are, there's just all different kinds of ways that people are using it. And I actually, or expressing it, I should say, I actually have a Light Language Foundations audio class that actually teaches about this, about how all the different things of light language, what it is, how people are using it, what's the purpose. And it's really helpful to understand, because it's not new. That's what we have to understand. It's not new, but it is kind of a new thing for when we see it on social media or something. It's new to that frequency. And now it's expanded where people are realizing it's not just gibberish. Not gibberish.
I think that the Earth's got to such a point in its awareness and its frequency that it's now becoming much more accepted in open ways, because maybe humanity wasn't ready for it on some level before, or not ready to accept it anyway.
Yeah, the evolvement, right? We've evolved to the point where we can bring it, and it can be accepted and understood in a different way, because it's all frequency and it's all energy. Yep. So, I think that even in years to come, maybe, I don't know if in my lifetime or, somebody's lifetime past this, that our energy fields will be recognized more by codes and by symbols and by energy frequencies than it will by name. Okay, that's just, I feel like we're just now starting the tip of the iceberg to understand that, where you'll be coming into people's energy fields and it won't be like, Medina, a name, it'll be like, oh, I see. It's like you'll see the essence and the codes and the symbols, and you'll feel them, and it'll be a whole different thing.
Like quantum.
Yeah.
And like Prince was ahead of his time, wasn't it? Because remember, he was known by that symbol. prince when he was.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that much about him, to be honest. I loved his music, but I didn't go into his life or anything, so I didn't know about any of that stuff. But I just know it's kind of like, it's the same kind of energy or the essence that when people are going into their creativity, you know, that creative spirit that they are, you know.
That symbol that he was wanting to be known by, as opposed
just
to
emulates. Yeah, and I think people will probably come up with their own symbols. Maybe they won't even need to be drawn. It's just something that you'll sense in people's field, and it's not really, but I think for us to get there in that way, which is why I feel like I'm kind of this somewhat of a bridge to get people out of the mentality of trying to figure out stuff by the mindset, and to dilute it and interpret it in ways that we're trying to really expand beyond that. And we can't continue the same putting, especially with light language, putting it into a box. It's just we're not going to get there by doing that. So I think that's why I keep drilling it in, and people keep saying, I still get so many emails and so many, well, what does this mean? And they'll send me their light language clips. Please don't do that, okay? Because I get too many of that stuff. But people will send me clips and they'll be like, what does this mean? And so I'm constantly having to tell people, look, you need to, and it took me years to download the different languages, to go within myself and to realize where they were coming from and what energies and what essences they were, what locations it was coming from. And so I think people really need to go inward a little bit more to feel the energy, instead of just, what does this mean? How does this translate? And the Orions have given me a translated phrase. They're the only ones that have ever given me one phrase. It's beautiful, but it's like they gave me one. And it was like, okay. So I say that I can translate some of it word for word, but I generally don't like to do that anyways until I get the green light on going back to translating. I don't know if that's going to be in my lifetime, but I know that there will be a time where that will come in, yet it'll be translating in a unique way. Like once we kind of get past this and more accepting of it, and we're all more feeling the energy and frequency of it, then I think we can go try to do some translations. But I always tell people to get a general sense of what you're bringing through anyway, because you do need to have it, but you don't need to have it word for word. You just need to know, okay, this frequency, this energy is feeling like it's coming through for healing pain or emotional pain in the heart, you know, or clearing my mental field of just all this crap right now. So you kind of have to just know the differences, and that's what's important to get. But beyond it, unless you really are here to bring the word for word translations, I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that. If that is what your calling is, by all means, go for it. It's just, this is where I'm at with it. And I know I can do that because I do it in the other realms of translating and diplomatic relations. But they're just saying that's not how we want you to do this right now, here. That's the
point. Otherwise, people can be overly concerned with wanting to get the English or their language meaning, when that's not the point of it. So that's a really helpful thing for people to know, just to be saying it. And I think the overall theme of what we've been talking about is to be able to go inward and learn to have an inner discernment, as opposed to evaluating your world in an external way from everything else that other people are saying and what's around you. It's all about going inward and finding the answers within. It seems to be the theme. And I think
I think that that's very, 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 very important. I mean, it's like there couldn't be anything more important really on this planet is doing that. And I think the question is, when someone will ask, like, what does this mean? You know, I like to reflect it back and say, what does it mean to you? Yeah. Because it's going to be different. Maybe totally different for what it means to me. So and this is a lesson for, I think, all of humanity right now, is to allow us to appreciate each person's experience might be different, and nobody's right or wrong, or because we have a lot of pointing fingers now on this planet right now, and it seems to be more heightened right now, especially in the political scene. but we definitely see it everywhere where there's like a lot of finger pointing and a lot of people saying like, I'm right, you know, this is the way and all that. And we have to just realize that everyone's got a different lens.
So it's like I think the sign of a mature civilization is to be able to honor one another's differences.
Honor it. And you know, some of the indigenous cultures do this way better than our modern civilization. We already know how to do it because we've all lived lives in those indigenous cultures in past lives. We know how to do this. If we can, and I'm not saying we have to turn back the clock and go back to all the indigenous ways, but I'm saying we definitely should be learning from some of their more positive and extracting some of these more positive expressions of communication and getting along with other people.
Yes.
I mean, there's a tribe, I have no idea what it is, it's just coming into mind, but I remember seeing that one of these tribes, indigenous tribes, when somebody in the tribe actually creates like a crime, you know, like it happens that often, but you know, if somebody stole something or someone did something to somebody else, what they do, instead of chastising them, putting them in jail or whatever, they actually bring them into the whole community, and the whole community goes around one at a time telling that person beautiful things about themselves, like something they remember beautiful about them or something positive about them. And the reason they do that is so the person can try to help remember who they are. Yes. And how they're seen as, not that we focus on all the negative, even though it's not good that they did that, but that's their belief system. And I think that's like a beautiful thing. I know it would be hard, and I'm not saying like if people kill other people that you just, you know, brush it off, but I'm saying there has to be a shift in how do we actually get this to not happen so much anymore, first of all, but to also see rehabilitation in a new way from those indigenous ways that we know actually work, you know?
Yeah,
so
there's an African tribe as well, a similar thing that you're talking about is when they, at birth, they're sung their soul song. And then
yes.
when they have some sort of thing in their life where they go off track, same sort of thing happens where they all come together and people sing to them their soul song so they can remember the inherent beauty and divinity of who they are. Yeah.
So perfect, because we realize all it is just somebody got derailed or off track. It's really what happened. Yes. And then when you start to bring them back, you know, most of the time, unless they do have some other things that are going on, and that's usually with the shamans and the tribe, are going to, you know, remove negative entities or whatever it is from them. But there's definitely it's like reminding people of the beauty of them and who they are and how they're loved. Yes. Is one of the things that brings us back to our humanity, the true sense of the word, the part of us that is human, that has the emotions here, that can tap into love and unconditional love. And I think that's why all of us are moving to more unconditional love for ourselves and for others, in spite of the negative or lower vibrations. Doesn't mean you have to hang there, but it does mean that if you emulate love in all situations as best you can, yes, then you are actually setting the tone for other people to do the same thing, and it's like chain reaction. So I mean, easier said than done, but we're doing it. That's the thing. You know, it's like we are doing it. Definitely. You know, yep. I love that people are you know, people that can be very direct and very assertive and yet also very loving at the same time, because I appreciate that and I respect people that can do that and that bring and hold that frequency, because it's holding that mastery that we all have, that we all are, and then it helps everybody else to remember, oh, whoops, you know, and stop and drop all of the blaming, you know, stop putting blame on other people, but just really go within yourself and do and be the best that you can in every situation, and not get down on yourself if you're not perfect at something either. Okay, this does not mean we chastise because, oh, we did it wrong, we didn't do it. It's like, no, because that's what our whole world has gotten so critical. You know, we're so critical of ourselves,
Yes.
and then that's what turns us into criticalness of others. So the less critical we can be of ourselves, and the more loving we can and forgiving that we can be to ourselves, the more we're going to be to our brothers and sisters on this planet.
Perfect. Exactly. Love is everything. Yes.
Yeah.
I really want to ask you another question about where you live. I'm from, just outside of Melbourne, Australia, and talking to you in Sedona. And because have you always lived there? And the energy in Sedona seems amazing. I've always been guided to visit there and to go there. I haven't been there, but it's just such an incredible energy. And my spirit's saying, I'd love to go there, but I wondered if you could just tell me a little bit about Sedona and the energy there, because there's something really special, and there's some amazing spiritual beings, channels that are there. I really like a lady called Shekina Rose, who's in...
Oh, yeah, I know Shekina. Yes.
She seems like
beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot of people here with small towns, so most of us know each other, or that are in this kind of genre, especially the Starseed communities. Love Sedona. It is beautiful and amazing here. I will say I did not always live here. I've been here for 10 years, though, which is actually a very long time to be living in Sedona. And I really didn't mean to come here. It was kind of, I would say, an accident, but it's never an accident. I actually meant to come here and only stay for about 6 months. And so it's been 10 years. So the energy definitely kept me from leaving. And my life has totally changed and transformed here. So I give Sedona all the credit for that.
Has it amplified your abilities and gifts?
Oh yeah, everything that I'm talking about that I do right now, came out beginning in Sedona. So I would say all of this energy work, everything that I'm doing now, okay, because I was in like I said, a whole different industry before that. I was living in Colorado, and I was in the restoration, construction, forensic engineering business, in marketing. So whole other world that I was in, and I was in that for like 10, 15 years prior. So like that was a long time in that industry. But so everything I am about, all of my artwork that I have done, the expansion of who I am, all the star languages and light languages, and all my sessions and intuitive work, and all the art, everything came out, at different times over this last 10 years. Mind you, not all at once, but it's like unfolded, because the energy here of Sedona, it's one big giant vortex, okay? There's little vortex areas, but you're living in a vortex here. And the cultures here, the native traditions, never intended anyone to live here. You were supposed to come here and get your vision quests and then leave. Yes. So living here full time is like somewhat being in a washing machine in a way, because you are kind of going around and around, but you're always given opportunities to cleanse and to clear and to heal all of your stuff from your past. And that's what I love about it, is that you're always having to better yourself, to clear, to cleanse, and to do your work here. Some people that come to Sedona aren't ready to do their work, and so they usually either hate it here and leave, or they get spit out by Sedona, because there's a saying, Sedona will either love you or spit you out sideways.
No,
because, but it's not like, I think that all the spiritual places of the world are kind of similar in that way. Mount Shasta's, and yes. Even in England, we have Stonehenge area or Glastonbury. So we have a lot of areas that are very spiritual that also, hold down the energy. But we are holding the energy here in Sedona for clearing and cleansing, because everybody comes here to visit and dumps their stuff here. Oh. So there's a lot of us, energetically speaking, and physically they do some damage, which is not good to the place here. But when people come and dump their stuff, which is totally understandable, because people are doing healing work, so I get that. But there's some of us that have to be somewhat of the cleanup crew. Okay, that's why some of us are here and are grounding the energy here so they can dissipate and transmute and keep the energy clear. We have a lot of light workers here that actually go out on the grids and on the land and do that and clear. Yeah, it's like transmutation of the planet. Yeah, everything happens here. So it's kind of, well, not everything, but a lot of things happen here. and it can be kind of an intense place to live because of it. But the beauty of Sedona is one thing. The energy of it here for me has always felt like, when I got here, I felt like home, but I also felt there was a sense of peace here. Even though you're in a vortex, like, I felt like it was the center point of peace and calm that I had not experienced, even in Colorado, which I absolutely loved. And it was so beautiful and so amazing. But I felt like there was aliveness, this energy aliveness there, that here feels more like calmer to me. That's just my own feeling, but some people feel very energized here. So it can be different for different people. But
I think the point that you, it's really important that your soul is in the location where it's going to be most serving of your higher self is really important, because I think the Dalai Lama talks about that too. He says that you're at the perfect weight and everything when you're in your right location. So I think if people are discerning about where they live and being in a location where they're really guided to be, because sometimes people will get an inner voice and they'll be told where to go, but they don't necessarily want to change the status quo and step out of what they're familiar with. But I think at the moment on the planet, to be really in the right location for your soul and for who you are is very important. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's the ley lines of the earth. The ley lines of the earth, and actually, I found, can be detrimental or can be very positive for you, depending upon how you are reacting to that particular place. I didn't understand this until I actually went and lived in the San Diego area. Now, I'm from California, so I lived in Orange County and Northern California, but I never actually lived in San Diego. And there was one time I came back for about a year. I went and lived in that area. Now, I thought it was going to be great, but my energy hated it there. I didn't feel good. I was tired all the time. My energy was so bad that I actually left and went back to Colorado for that 1 year. And it was like, so you have to go with like guidance, and I suggest everybody go to the location before you move there, because I had been there only passing through, but I didn't spend that much time there until I just decided to move. So I think it's important for people to go spend some time in the energy, see how you feel in it first, because that gives your own guidance system to feel how your body is going to react to the ley lines. Right. And it does depend on where you're at too in these areas. But I think we're all getting prompted. You know, if I did not have the courage to leave Colorado after, realizing that I got to make a change, there's something coming. And then I lost my job in the 2009 market crash, where everyone was losing their houses and their jobs. So a lot of us were sort of propelled into, what are you going to do now? And so it was kind of forced into it. But I knew I needed to make the change because I was getting the guidance. Something has to change. But even if you don't know what it is, you're not sure what it is, like, take some time to actually go exploring then, if you can, go to a couple different places or look into some other, where you're feeling guided or drawn to, because geographically you'll be guided to where you need to go, and you need to plant yourself in these places a little bit to see what resonates with you. But we are getting, it's like the chess pieces being moved around as Mother Gaia is moving us around. And it's important to be in a place that makes you happy but flourish, to where you can expand and allow your soul gifts to come out, where you feel comfortable and where you feel supported. So wherever that is, yes, that's where we're being asked to go.
Fantastic. That's great. Thank you. Well, it's been such an incredibly inspiring chat with you. It's been amazing. And before you go, I'd really love to ask you about your Starseeds Alliance and what that is, and who it calls to, if there's anyone out there perhaps that it resonates and would like to contact you as well. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, my main website is going to be lightstarcreations.com. That's my main website that has all of my artwork and all of my everything, my products, my artwork, my session work, and everything. And I also have a free activation pack that I call, that's also there for you guys. It's a free guided visualization, 15 minutes.
Fantastic,
yeah,
by the way.
really got free guided visualization and 7 free high resolution wallpaper images for your personal use. So that's under the gifts navigation tab. But
two below.
Oh yeah, if you put the link in there, that's too, because people can go and sign up for that. And the Starseed Alliance International is it's something that myself and my partner Stan's Bear had put together many years ago, and we are maybe going to be doing some more of that in the future. We did
actually, I saw the chat.
Yes.
And it was lovely.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's awesome. He has like so many gifts and talents. He's such a talented musician as well. And so the two of us kind of put together this thing. We have a co-session that we do on that too, that we do together. But we're going to be doing more maybe in the future with it, because both of us got busy lives to do other stuff. But we wanted to, we did an event many years ago with it for Starseeds to start on this journey of opening. And that's why we call it like a resource center for that. But it's really was meant to allow people to explore themselves, and that's what we help people do in those sessions as well. So yeah, it's really great. But I really appreciate you having me on here as well to share. And again, if any of you guys want to go check out my website or get that activation, or my YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel is where I do all my light language activations on there. So you can go check that out as well by, it's on my contact page where you can see all of this, but you can just type in Lightstar on YouTube and that will pop up on my channel as well. So yeah, I really appreciate your energy and what you're bringing here for the planet too. I love doing these kinds of interviews and conversations with like-minded starseeds, and it has been my honor.
Oh, it's been so beautiful to talk to you, and I think that there's so many gems in what you've shared today that people will be able to benefit from. And you are such a great ambassador for everything that you're bringing to the planet. And thank you for who you are.
Thank you for who you are as well. And thank you to all of you out there. I love you, and just keep going. Do not give up. Don't get lost in fear, and step up to your own vision and your own version of your soul gifts, to allow yourself to express your way and in your essence. Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic advice. Okay, thank you so much, and much love and light.
Love and light to everyone. Bye now.
Love and light to everyone out there. Bye.